Welcome. Heckle the finance committee.
Oh,
You can't say
we got our first heckler.
loud. No talking. And it makes a quorum. Big trouble.
It's true.
Oh my gosh, it's just.
All right. Let's call the meeting to order. So one. Roll call. Tim? Jason? Here. I'm here and so is Danelle. Any public comments? All right. Can I get a motion to approve March's finance, please?
So moved. Second.
Right. I think that was supposed to be April's finance meeting though, right? Oops. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve April's finance meeting?
I'll make a motion to.
Alright, perfect.
You forgot that.
We're done motion for before.
March.
It says March
Oh.
and I read it and then I realized it should be April. All right, items of business. We have a proposed budget. Dun dun dun.
Biggest snafu is that I don't have all the numbers, so, valuation, so everything in our revenues. As far as like taxes and stuff. My conservative guesstimate. Dropping it lower than what I hoped that it would be, so. Obviously, we aren't. Approving this budget for fiscal year, we have one more meeting, so this is just proposed. Any changes that you want on here, we put on now, and then we motion for these changes to be acknowledged and to be the proposed budget, and then I'll change them, and then we'll put out, it'll be available for anyone that wants to amend until the June one. And then the June one, if there are any changes, I'll come with that. This will be changed. Any questions? You want
Are
me to?
these sheets at the back of this pile?
So,
These are the ones that you were talking about to kind of help us
yeah,
get a better handle.
yes.
That's the purpose of all of this, isn't it?
Obviously the colorful stuff is the actual budget itself. So all these are like, are
Right.
line item,
Yep.
and then
And this is.
how I fill it,
layman's
yeah,
term.
and how I fill it out, like payroll wise. Is this, so like, I have police, clerk, treasurer, DPW and all the lines, because we work in all those funds. So I have to put our work. Versus our wages towards that, so, yeah, so. Like, it's complicated but not, but last. Well, it would have been 24, we did a study with the DPW to make sure that their hours. Were up to date with how they were allocated, so what department, what percentage goes where. So like,
And this number,
and then this is taking 25, 26 is budget. And putting it in a pie chart so you can see where everything is. I broke it out, the first one, it says all funds combined. That is all of our funds, so major streets, local streets, general fund,
which DPW falls into most all the categories.
well, DPW hits everything. I hit most things, and Kim hits very, very little about everywhere, just because she does filing and any kind of applications that need to go for anything, and
So we're spending 228,000. For just payroll. And benefits.
yep.
It's more than that, isn't it?
So well, that would be.
This is the, everything
This would
combined,
be
and then,
2026.
and these guys are broken down.
Yeah, exactly. So this would be across the, what was, this was what wasn't you, like, that's not what actually happened. This is just what what the council approved or proposed, was that. Doesn't mean that's what actually happened.
Yeah, because my question is, when I looked at it and did some math. DPW, when you're looking at compensation and benefits.
They don't match this one because it's 26, 27.
But when I was looking
Mhm.
at 26, 27, and I added up the total compensation and wages, it
Mhm.
was 660,000.
Yeah.
Which is 60% of our total budget. Which I believe from very limited research is in line with what other small municipalities are. Yeah, depending
Really?
on, well, give or take. We don't have water, so that makes a big impact too.
Right.
It just doesn't seem like at the end of the day, if you take 660 and you put it into wages and compensation, you've got 238 in operation. What's the estimated? I can't, I should have brought my laptop in, I'll have it for the council meeting. Because I thought you were looking at maybe 1.7 in revenue as an estimate,
Or.
total revenues.
You're talking about for. Yeah, it'd be about that once you put in the. Roads and all that in, which I did get numbers for, those numbers that I got. Are good numbers that would be sent, so yeah, about that. If you're adding up, you mean like for all the funds together, yeah, it would be about, I would say about.
But,
Might be high, but
we don't have to. Do we have any capital projects accounted for in here?
for. I did not put capital, I did not put CIP in. On the line items for 26, 27. Is that what you mean?
Like projected expenditures for capital?
I did what I know, but I didn't do anything that was gonna transfer over to the CIP. So whatever projects that are gonna get completed in 26, 27 should be on here. But if I don't know what ones we're actually gonna do, so the CIP isn't even from C2A, we meet with them Thursday. To figure out a harder sidewalks, roads, drains, any of that stuff. So that stuff isn't included on here yet, but CIP is actually not something that is a state mandated, needs to be. Approved in June for a fiscal year, because it's a capital improvement plan.
Yeah, I just think if we're talking about managing the taxpayers' money overall, we should probably be looking at it and saying, how much are we setting aside for?
Which is the plan,
No,
but since I
yeah.
don't have all the numbers until Thursday, that's why I left it off, because why, I don't even wanna even try to guess.
No,
But do you surely know how much money we'll have available to put into the CIP?
Yeah, cause this has everything on here that we have to pay. Minus what we can move for the CIP. So like when you look at the bottom of the general fund. Use wage. I get the bottom. 12. We have 165,000 in the general fund. That isn't allocated yet to where it should go for the CIP. Like that's
And-
how much we have, that's how much we would have as a balance at the end of the fiscal year.
And in order to put it in the CIP, it has to have a designated project.
No.
You can't just shove the money into the CIP and then decide what to do with it later.
yeah,
We could, I mean, it's like
It
a
can't-
savings, I guess,
Yeah.
if you wanna say it's like a savings.
And
We should put it in a, yeah, we should
Yeah.
put it in a department, like we wanna, that's why, so, like just about every department has a transfer to CIP line item. That's when we decide, okay, like the police,
well, in their case, we plan on buying a car every
So many years, it
set
has to be
schedule,
updated,
and
yeah,
that
so
money
that,
goes in and
mhm.
it's designated.
Yep.
But we also are able to just put money into
If we got it.
savings.
Yeah.
If we've got,
Yeah.
yes. Which we will.
then it's,
And
I'm
that-
optimistic.
Seems like we should just have a set number that we shoot for every year. You know,
Yeah.
if we know depreciation and this is gonna be part of that asset
Mhm.
management, if we can start looking at
mhm,
backhoe, X amount a year.
Yep.
Side by side, golf carts, whatever it is,
Yep.
X amount a year that we're setting aside.
Oh, and roads, you can do, roads and sidewalks, you can do likewise.
Yeah,
mhm.
but I guess it's just hard for me when I'm looking at this and probably because it is that complicated. To try to get a good feel for how much are we putting into CIP that we plan on taking right back out this year versus how much we're putting into CIP for future use. And that I think we could clarify at some point.
Mhm.
And maybe if we got to the point where we're putting enough away for CIP every year that. It's already in, the
Mhm.
CIP for 27-28 is, those projects are funded already. And everything we're putting in this year is for future projects. I just can't imagine we're there right
No,
now. Okay,
Not even close, are we?
I mean,
Probably have to wait till we get Thursday's numbers so that we can
Mhm.
see what other things that we have earmarked, maybe even for 26, 27, whether how much we're gonna be able to get done and how much we
And
gotta
we-
put in.
Fresh me, the numbers Thursday are from Capital Consultants
mhm.
or C280.
Yeah. They're coming with, they have several different proposals, that's what Neil said, so we'll have options to look at. As move forward with that. But again, that 164 could go up. I dropped 3% off for the villages, and it probably won't be like that, but. Who knows? Inflation, it has to do with inflation and what this one formula that I don't have anything to do with. So when they give me those numbers, it'll be better. But
HSC isn't gonna beat their tonight, are they? Since we're doing their contract?
no,
No,
Okay,
I don't.
cause
It's actually, I did look into assessing and we don't pay that much compared to most, so.
that's not where I was going. I
Well,
was,
I mean,
I
oh,
was gonna question. Our taxes go up every year automatically, it seems. To the extent that they're allowed. Why
According to
doesn't
the
that
state.
number keep up with our depreciation?
it's a state formula. I
Mhm.
think there's nothing really that the assessors can do unless we do. Like a, I don't even know what it's called.
But
Like they can reassess the whole entire city as a whole to see if everybody's taxable value is where it should be comparatively.
So
It's like a
cost
study.
segregation.
Yeah, it's a
we have
study.
to prove that it's not, 'cause the
Yeah.
state sets all that.
Yeah,
But you understand what I'm asking. You've got depreciation of streets and sidewalks and sewer. And we have to fund that depreciation in order to maintain it. But if we don't bring in
so,
if
but
the
then,
taxes
but then you
don't go
want
up
to,
the
we
same
don't want the
amount,
taxes to go up, but the taxes have to go up if we
Right.
need to
Mhm.
do things.
and they
so-
naturally do go up every year.
Yep,
but
and
they're
that's.
not going up at a sustainable rate to match inflation,
Right.
so it's gonna be hard, like the gap is.
But
Yes.
isn't that up? And inflation up
It's like,
on
it's
the
either,
tax bill?
like, what do you,
We're pretty high as far as the city of Laingsburg.
Yeah.
And our-
Every piece of property I get or have, I get a slip that says this is not a tax bill.
Right.
Yes, that's your assessment.
that's yours, yeah,
It's how much it's going up this year.
Right.
and that's when
And
you
year
take it
after
to
year.
peer review if you don't agree with
Laingsburg
it.
continually keeps going up. We're one of the highest in Shiawassee County. And that's not us, the state, anybody. That's people buying
Yeah.
houses that are and paying more.
So
It all
this
is
is
about,
why we're driving on not dirt roads. Hard and feathered.
We're such a desirable community, that's the problem.
yep,
that we shouldn't.
We're in a great, I mean, we're in a great spot, really, technically, if you think about what's all around it.
Don't see many vacant houses.
And they don't last very long. if you do.
No.
Yeah.
And they're going for way more than
Or-
any.
And the property taxes, as long as it's a homesteaded property, there's a maximum of a cap that the state can raise it every year, so that's nothing that anyone in this
And
room can.
Isn't that
say.
number tied to the inflation number?
Yes,
It's tied to a
In
lot of
fact,
things,
Isn't
but
it equal?
no,
not
It is
normally.
not equal.
No.
it
to
can
the
never be
official
over
rate.
5%.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, inflation, and that's, the whole thing that's going on right now, what they're talking about with inflation going down and the interest rate staying and
Mhm.
keeping that from going too high and end up being in a recession.
Right.
That's why they keep that.
They take the lesser of the
Arguing
two.
about the interest rate.
So whatever inflation versus the, what is it, the MFR? I don't remember what it is, but it's the lesser of the two. And it can never be over 5%.
Yes. So, yeah, inflation can go, but they can never go more than 5%.
But have we ever had inflation numbers above 3% or even at 3%?
I'm sure,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I think so.
2020
I think-
numbers?
I think,
Right,
Twenty-
around 2020,
2021, 2022
Yeah,
was
we were really
five
high.
and 7.
yeah,
Yes, because when I first started it. The taxable value and taxes skyrocketed.
What year was it that they were begging to get it from 0 up to 2?
18,
Yeah, say
17.
17?
That was when.
And then it went the other way after
The 08, wasn't 08,
That, well, that
when everything
crashed.
went way down, yeah.
when everything, yeah.
Just to recap. The estimated revenues, 1.7,
Mhm.
the estimated appropriations. About 1 million,
Mhm.
so the difference is about 700.
Yeah, if you
roughly.
put them all together, yes.
Yeah. And that 700 is basically CIP.
The only
Could be.
problem is that a lot of, a big chunk of that is in the roads. So if you look at the,
700.
yeah, a lot of, that is going to increase. Right, because there, we have a new funding with all the tax stuff that came through with the pumps and then the marijuana tax and all that stuff. We have a new funding coming in called the NRF, which is the neighborhood road funds. That's bringing in another like 60,000 for us a year. So-
Above what we normally.
Yes. Yeah, but the fund balance already in the major roads is around 500,000. Or it might actually be more than that, I don't remember, but. So you have to think like, not for like that year, whatever the fund balance is, but a lot of the extra. It's because this year we don't have plans to do roads. So the Act 51 plus, which is 100 some, which is almost 200,000. Actually will reach over 200,000 after everything settles in. You have that plus that 60,000 that we aren't putting really much towards construction. So that'll just, gonna just keep building, which is great for us, right? You know, cause then we don't have to go get bonds. Right, like, cause we can plan for that stuff. We'll build a, a fund balance to what we can use. And we have 500,000 in the CD right now. That was the bond that they got in 23. There's 500,000 there. That's in the CD that is supposed to be used for infrastructure. So. There's that, which is. Up in 3 months, I think, or 6 months. So when we have, I'm only doing those short until we were to get the CIP. So instead of having a year-long CD, I've only did, I think, 6 months. Or maybe it was 3 months.
That's 700
It has to be split. Yeah.
into different
Yeah.
funds. So they didn't see it increasing the fund balance proportionally.
Not, yeah,
So because it's basically CIP, which is a separate fund,
Yeah.
then. I'm just trying to understand where it's all going.
Yeah.
So that should be increasing.
That will increase, but it has to stick like in the road part. A lot of
Which is
it.
fine, but so
So our roads will be great, but like sewer, that is
great.
not right, because the only thing we generate for sewer, because it's an enterprise, the only revenue we get for that is connection, any kind of sewer connections, which we know we'll have one if Terry goes in this year. But other than that, we don't know if there will be any other, and then you have our sewer bills.
Mhm.
That's our revenue for that. So that fund balance won't grow that much. Unless we were to cut spending somewhere, which the sewer fund is hard to cut unless it's mostly wages.
Hmm.
And I did, it did kind of cut back a little because we don't spend as much time actually doing stuff in the sewer, right? Like, we spend more time around town, but I mean, we mow, so that the mowing hits it but
The mowing out there.
yeah. So we have to account for stuff like that. But that's just not one that grows quickly unless our rates were to increase, which we will hit that again once we get the CIP stuff back from the engineers on what they think needs to be done and what they found. Then we can take it back to rural water and see what our, where we are. There's a lot of, right now that we're kind of like.
In the air,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like kind of a
And the
standstill.
sewer rate usually was doing that also, or
No,
was rural water?
Rural water is doing that, but we have to get numbers to know. These are our planned, this is what we planned this year, and this year. And C2A will be like, we need to do. A smoke test or something. I mean, we won't have to, but because we just did one not too long ago, but. Just get better like judgment of what needs to be done.
If your assumptions were all correct. If your crystal ball was just working really well that day to put this together, and this is exactly what we see in June. Because
It should be, I think
it's
I
gonna
think
be
it'll be
close, yeah. The math is all, I mean, it's a sound budget.
Mhm.
That we're putting money away, we're doing
Yeah.
everything fairly correctly. If we approve it as is, what is oversight between now and the next budget? Because that's one thing that I would question with the way we handled it this last year, and only because it varies from private sector where we look at our budget monthly.
Right.
We budget
Well,
payroll.
and
And I would question if that may not be a practice we want to look at, being at 60-some% of our.
and that's definitely a
So, but-
policy if we want, if you
Yeah.
guys wanna say, hey, I want. These things monthly, or I wanna see these things monthly. Broke out this way, or. Yeah, that's what I want. I always, when we put bills in, if it is over budget, it will alert you. So I get alerts if anything's over budget. I constantly, I do look at things.
Oh, no,
So,
this isn't question.
but I'm just like,
Yeah,
I do see. And I typically say something, if I see something that's out of the ordinary. Quarterly, last year, what that's about was quarterly, I brought a budget to everybody. Or finance anyways, quarterly. But if you guys wanna see it more, you wanna see it different, you guys are the board, you guys.
I mean, you guys have the
Council.
policies, so.
I liked your first draft here.
Mhm.
I like this a lot better than this.
Oh, the wage thing,
Well, just,
this is.
yeah, this is just wages, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
all
all
of
it is.
But, yeah, it just puts it,
Well, that's
I
what
get
I
it for better
tried to do
perspective.
this, show where everything goes. Per fund, like, so the general fund, this is where, how everything is, the general fund. The clerk hits 87% of our general fund, and then the other. 13% go out to, some of it hits, a little bit hits sewer, a little bit hits streets, a little, so. And a lot of hers should hit, cemetery, but it doesn't. Cemetery is.
Because it just hasn't or because it can't?
Well, I mean,
Well,
we could, but we don't have
I don't know
everything.
why it's set up. the way
Yeah,
it
it's how
is,
it's
because
set up.
I am the one who sells the plots, manages the cemetery, so I don't know why it's
And
never
that's
hit
why
there.
our wages should hit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one who does, besides everything he does out there, I do everything else, like, so I don't know why it's never hit.
I've done a lot of fixing with this the last month or so.
Getting
Just-
stuff where it should have
Yeah,
gone.
because like. Um. The methodology is different with when I pay a bill for this and then what is in payroll, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but I want everything to be, well, if this is 80%, 87% here, needs to be 87% for every single bill that comes in, that needs to be divvied out between allocations. But not all of that stuff was matching, so some things were over budget because it's like, why are we over budget? Well, because some bills, like healthcare bills, are an invoice that goes through AP, it does not hit payroll.
Mhm.
So then when you look at, oh, well, my payroll is all this right here, but then the bills are using a different spreadsheet created by someone different so. That is what I've been working on more, cause I want that to be accurate, and then I will have to hit, hey, why is the cemetery, the same with the elections, I need to figure out, that's not set up, it should be a payrolls. That's how it should be set up as payroll, not an AP. Right now it's set through AP, so I have to go through and create,
A line item.
not even a line, not, oh, this is the line item, it's also a payroll system, so there's a lot of things behind the scenes.
Cause now we do have to put our election workers through payroll.
Yeah, well, that's not set up
And
that
I
way.
pay the other one.
Oh, we're
There's-
paid just,
It's just a check, like we just like, hey, we worked this many hours. Okay, I'll cut a check to this individual, but it should be hours logged in payroll in the payroll system.
And I wonder if this level of complexity when it comes, I think for finance is great, but maybe when it comes to council, it should be DPW's payroll budget for the month is $6,200. The funding, we'll leave that behind the curtain. We know you've got it. We know finance is regulating it. Because then that's easy. Clerk's payroll for the month is supposed to be X amount of dollars. Operating expense for the month budget is X amount. How it's funded, if we need to pull back the curtain and figure that out on the council level, we will, but really, we just want to know the operating budget and if everyone's on track. And I wonder from department heads, if that wouldn't make your guys' job easier, knowing I've got X amount of dollars this month for payroll.
We look all the time, so, I mean, we're in there all the time, so,
Well,
I know you probably are, but
Well, but
we look at our.
yeah,
so,
and I know, 'cause that's what I give my guys at the end of the month, say, hey. Why are we up here? Or why didn't we spend anything? It cuts both ways, but that might be, or maybe that's too big of a step for you. One, maybe we look at a quarterly report. Payroll monthly, operating quarterly, because I would be a big fan of reducing the overall operating budget. To run it leaner. Because if you don't try to run it, same with labor, if you don't try to run it leaner. Then you're never gonna see
Then
any
it won't.
savings.
Right.
So if we reduce it. And then leave a contingency where Dave says, hey, it snowed every single day. I'm gonna need more payroll. We know we have it if we need it. But it would be a council approved item.
and we'd also know why.
Yeah. We're not at the end
We
of the
can
year
point
trying to
it.
justify 12 months worth of expense. We're looking at it more regularly.
Well,
Without
that's where
creating-
you come in with the changes that you want to see on this proposed budget. You want to see those changes, then this is the time to change it to where either you want to bring it down and make it leaner wherever you see. And then so that it's budgeted when it's approved. Otherwise, we're into the next fiscal year.
I know,
and it
this is
hasn't-
more of a,
Yeah.
and I,
And that's a policy that, like.
Yeah.
Writing, I mean, implementing policies is the council's job.
Yeah.
They're the ones to implement it, we're the ones to follow it and make sure it gets done. So like, you wanting to have it quarterly, wanting to have it monthly, those are all policies that need to be addressed at the council, motioned and approved. And that becomes a policy, and that becomes what we do.
Exactly, and I guess where I'm looking, I think to be responsible, I'm sorry, I know we're in your guys' time right now. Feedback from you guys with this, because I don't want to make a policy to make a policy unless the policy has a net positive effect for the employee in the city. If it's benefiting both, it's a good policy. It's benefiting the city, but it's creating extra work for you guys. It still could be a good policy, but if it's doing neither, then it's just a policy for no reason. But if it's a net benefit for the employee and the city, like, hey, I can now manage my payroll more effectively because I've got real-time reporting on it. We see a cost savings, that's good for the taxpayers. Now we have more money for concrete for sidewalks. That's a good thing. Well, how do we get there, I guess? And I don't have the answer. I'm posing a question and hoping maybe we get some feedback. But I do think moving forward, I would like to see, and I don't know what you guys think, especially payroll. Probably at least every couple of months at a minimum, and to know you guys have targets.
Mhm.
Because without a target, I mean.
And or justification for the payroll, well, because we had this payroll, we were able to do A, B, C, D. And got it done. Versus, we don't know.
And we're retail, and so I mean, on our end, a 60% payroll, you're bankrupt. But it's a whole different thing, so when I saw that, I was kind of like, oh wow, you'd have to have your thumb on that. But this also is a total different enterprise, but. I think this is all great, nice job, but moving forward, I'm just, don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that before we.
Give us numbers that are in our face often enough that we pay attention, have to.
We're recording this, right?
Yes.
I've always done better with a gun to my head.
Okay, now that was recorded too, right?
I think my concern would be, again, everything that I've learned in my trainings, I think you've echoed it and Kim as well, is there should be an expectation that our revenue streams are going to be reduced. And if they are going to be reduced, we need to proactively start managing expenses, and we can't do that unless we're doing it on an ongoing basis, so.
So when we go to council, I guess one thing that you could, as an option, approve with, I don't know, make it a little bit leaner, or I don't know how you wanted. We'll go over it more in council more in depth. We can explain that up there, but I'm fine.
I just be hesitant to make that motion without knowing from you guys that how that would impact you on a day-to-day basis.
As in like a policy or making it leaner.
Well,
Yes.
That's the budget. For me, it's not hard for me to make this leaner. It's more looking at just at every department head. How can you make your department leaner? Can you make your department leaner? I threw in the recommended, or I threw in our budget request and budget, that line. The recommended budget, I tried throwing in some of the numbers where I know that there's no swinging from it, like consumers, utilities, or which I have another contact to reach out to see, to do a assessment kind of consumers to see where we could possibly save. So I am in looking at that part, but yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever is asked. Harder, it's harder. It's make it better, so. Sorry, it's not probably the answer you want, but if it's what you guys want, and then I figure out a way to do it.
but you're so easy to work with.
No.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Adjourn.
This is, oh, this is.